Point. Let's switch gears for a moment and talk about somebody else, Betsy. That is Senator Chuck Grassley, because he's confirmed that Jared Kushner is going to be interviewed by the Senate Judiciary Committee. Is Kushner as big of a piece in all of this as Bannon seems to think he is, according to Michael Wolff's book?
That's a good question. It goes without saying that the White House is going to be deeply concerned about the fact that Kushner's doing this interview. Back to even before the Mueller special counsel investigation got going. So we're talking months and months ago when the first details about the FBI's investigation and the potential connection between Trump world and the Kremlin started leaking out. Reporters, myself included, were very much aware that one of the biggest areas of concern for the White House about this investigation was not necessarily the Russia piece, but the finance piece. They've long been worried that investigators, as they dig into these potential Kremlin connections, will overturn other questionable financial dealings. And we also know that Jared Kushner and his family's business have drawn the attention of investigators for other matters, including from New York investigators and the SEC, questions related to the way that his family business was potentially offering to help Chinese investors get visas in exchange for spending money on their companies. So the financial question may be front of mind for the Senate Judiciary Committee, and it's certainly something that Kushner is going to have to deal with as he's preparing to take their questions. So,
Frank, to that point, does Kushner really need to worry about this? I mean, is the White House worried about Kushner being called into questioning in front of the Senate committee here, or could there even be repercussions for Kushner himself?
Yeah, I've actually said before here on MSNBC that I think Kushner is criminally exposed. I think there's concerns about the family money. We've already heard reports that one of the factors in deciding whether to fire Jim Comey or not may have been that he was getting close to financial issues with the Kushner family. So I think there's a with Kushner testifying and Kushner possibly being exposed.
And let me ask you about this, Frank, because this week Senator Dianne Feinstein made the decision to unilaterally release the transcripts of Fusion GPS's co-founder Glenn Simpson's testimony about the controversial Trump dossier. From an investigator's perspective, does that hurt or help the investigation? Because the defense that was made by Senator Grassley was that you've now tainted the memories of potential witnesses that we're going to call by putting out this information that they can either decide to corroborate or stay away from.
Yeah, as a general rule, no investigator or prosecutor likes to see leaks while in the middle of conducting a very serious investigation. I know Senator Feinstein had her reasons to do so. It's simply for investigators shows the belief that this is a very partisan process on the Hill. The emphasis has to be on the Mueller inquiry over the Hill inquiry. And I think Senator Feinstein wanted folks to know, look, there's a grave danger here from Russia. It's not getting the attention it needs. I'm letting this testimony go because it shows that the dossier was not the origin of the investigation, and that even Christopher Steele felt that things were so suspicious he ran to the FBI with what he knew.
Betsy, really quickly, the Washington Post reporting that prosecutors are looking at a possible May 14th trial date for Paul Manafort and Rick Gates. Is it still possible that the prosecutors could get a deal before May 14th?
It's always possible, but at this point, the fact that they haven't gotten one yet may indicate that that could be a bit of a long shot. Circling back very quickly to Frank's point, there's a lot of questions about whether the Senate Judiciary investigation is as serious as it's billed to be, particularly the way that Grassley's staff have described it to me. There are some issues there.
All right, guys, great to have both of you with us. Frank Figliuzzi and Betsy Woodruff, appreciate your insights as always. That'll do it for me this week.